Rouser Radio, broadcasting from Lewes in the southeast of England, and from this little town to the rest of the world. I must say that a radio studio is a very comfortable place for me. I have been a broadcaster in Canada, in the United States, in the Balkans, in Northern Ireland, one or two more places as well. And on and off since 1997 in Lewes, East Sussex. Well, that's our signature tune. It's called Buddy, and it's from Bensound. And the people of Bensound are pretty good because unless you're making a fortune, they allow us, to use their music. And they don't charge a penny for it. And that's really great because it helps get off the ground enterprises like Rouser Radio, Mirador Television, and many others who would face spending a fortune, which you don't have if you had to pay for the music. So, well done, Bensound. And all we have to do, for the moment, anyway, until we get filthy rich, is to say thank you very much and give them a credit for the fact that it's their music. And I don't think that little Buddy thing really turns me on, and that's why we chose it to be the signature tune of Rouser Radio. Now, come back, John Wayne. All is forgiven. The Democrats in the United States, and I said the other day when we started all this nonsense in the streets, that once the herd gets going, there is no stopping it, and it does ridiculous things. That was true of Russia in 1914 or thereabouts. It's true of Germany in 1928-29 or thereabouts. And it's been true of many Asian countries before and since. The Democrats want to rename the California airport John Wayne Airport because he was a known right-wing redneck. Now, you can't talk about my John that way. I interviewed him once in Canada at Exhibition Park. He loved the races. In fact, his son was with him, and he came to Exhibition Park, and at the time I was a journalist, and I just happened to be there because the radio station that I worked for had a box and indeed called all the races at Exhibition Park. Exhibition Park is a story in itself, and one day I'll tell that. But anyway, nobody must tamper with John Wayne. And I go on to Roku, the streaming device on television, which is just making huge inroads. It's got something like 100 million users, and both here and in the United States now. I mean, particularly in the United States, which is growing here. I go in and take a little tap into other things because Mirador Television is on it, and therefore I go in a professional sense, if you like. But also it's got Pluto movies, and Pluto movies, some of them are soppy, some of them are old, some of them are young, some of them, but there's a good wide range on Pluto. Those of you who haven't got Roku, I'm sure haven't heard of Pluto, but boy, there's some interesting things. And quite often in the early evening, if I get a chance to watch, there is John Wayne as a very young man rescuing maidens from the stagecoach, shooting down the bad guys, and looking as if he's about 20 years old. Perhaps he was only about 20 years old. But John Wayne was known for his right-wing views. But when you say right-wing, what do we mean anymore? What I think mostly John Wayne's philosophy was give them a cuff around the ear and send them home to their dad and their mom and tell them to behave, otherwise they get another cuff around the ear. I don't know that he was ever so right-wing that he joined in, for instance, the McCarthy trials or anything of that sort. But anyway, as far as I'm concerned, he's one of my favourite film stars, and the drawl and the walk and the fact that he always came out on top eventually after huge adversity is just too much for me to grasp that anybody would want to take away the name John Wayne from their airport. But it just shows it's not just here that we've gone crackers. It's all over the world. What a pity. Crackers should be for soup. And that's really what we've done. We've turned our life into soup. Nobody is thinking straight anymore. It's all just a bit silly and a bit nonsensical. Anyway, I think perhaps just to get us going, because it is a miserable day out there, and it's 6:36 here in Lewes, and I'm sure that it's 6:36 here in Lewes wherever you are in the world, but it won't be 6:36 with you, so check your clocks to see whether you should be going to bed, getting up, or probably some of my Russian colleagues and friends in the middle of the day. Looking forward, late morning, looking forward to a very decent lunch. And I must say that many restaurants in modern Moscow are pretty damn nice restaurants. Now, because I've trotted the world, I really have a list of really nice restaurants, but they're all out of the way. No great big names, they're all tucked down side streets, back streets. But the food is to die for. So what shall we do? I think we should really play a local Dandelion Charm with the favourite of mine, Birdcage. So let's Twitter with John and Claire from Dandelion Charm.
You're good, then I might let you in. that burns deep within. Then I'll begin to strip you of everything. He said, sing, canary, sing. If you're good, then I might let you in to the passion that burns in my heart. That's just the start, but I won't give you anything. Sing, canary, sing. My hatred caresses your skin. This torment you choose to live in will hide all my sin.
Oh, hang on. Sorry, Dandelion Charm. You keep your ears and eyes open for Dandelion Charm. They're a local group out of New Haven. Husband and wife duo, if that's the right word. Do we say duo, duet? My English, when it comes to that part of description, sometimes defies me. It's all escaping. No, it's not age. I can still think. John and Claire, and they are an excellent couple. They write their own material. They are appearing more and more regularly locally at festivals and so on and so forth. They're worth catching. They really are a terrific act, and I'm sure that before much longer we're going to find them headlining in various places. They're on the way up. Dandelion Charm. And a splendid family too, a very talented family. There are 3 daughters. Mind you, don't talk about Mom and Dad. Mom at 70 got a PhD. Dad was the bursar at the London School of Economics. And one of the 3 daughters, Fleur, is a very talented storyteller. Didn't know there were professional storytellers, did you? Well, there are, and they're very much a society which entertains just simply by telling stories. It's terrific. And then Charlotte, who is an opera singer. So they're 3 daughters, 3 talents, and parents just keeping up with them as well. A wonderful family. Sunday lunch is something to savour. If you're ever invited by Dandelion Charm to have Sunday lunch at their parents' house, go. You won't regret it. It's fantastic. Fantastic and enjoyable, very traditional English time. And the first time I ever met Mary, which is 20 years ago, 25 years ago now, I suppose, and we were invited to lunch, and Mary did the carving, and boy, I sat in awe as I saw her doing it. I can't carve, I hack a roast to pieces, but she did it with absolute superb skill and set about it arms akimbo, and that's when I knew I was going to like this family. They are esoteric.